everybody, Bobby here from Think Big Go Local, and I've got a couple really awesome Instagram things to share with you today. But first, I wanted to show you this beautiful new piece of artwork that was gifted to me by my very talented little sister. I wish you could touch it. It's called Encaustic. I don't even know what that means or what it's made of, but it's awesome. It's my logo, and every time I look at it, it just makes me think of the color and creativity that we get to embrace in Instagram. So thanks, sis. I love this. And for the rest of you, today I want to take a few minutes and tell you why you need to be on Instagram and what are the little key factors that you need to know in order to start creating better Instagram stories. Okay, so after watching me and hopefully all kinds of other people out in the marketing and Instagram online world, you have figured out that it is time for your small business to embrace the Instagram platform, set up a business profile, and get started marketing your business in that space online. I've said this over and over again, but Instagram is probably my absolute favorite social media platform, and for so many reasons. Let me give you a few of those. One, the audience is just much more friendly and warm and engaging, and that kind of rocks my world, so I love that. The community is just much more positive, and you see so much more creativity on Instagram than you get to see in other platforms, so that just makes it really enjoyable to go through the news feed. On top of it, reach is so much better. Engagement is ridiculously higher than what you're going to find in any other platform. And again, it's just so much fun. And with the introduction of business pages and Instagram stories, which we're going to talk about today, this has become a platform that your business can no longer afford to ignore. Hands down, no question about it, you've got to carve out your space in Instagram. And one awesome feature to take advantage of when you do that are Instagram stories. So today I'm going to give you a few tips, and then I'm actually going to plug in my phone and show you how to do a few things, because I'm guessing you're probably just scared because you don't know what to do, and that's okay. That's why I'm here. Okay, so if you're really brand new to this platform, you may actually be saying, what's an Instagram story? I don't want you to click out of this video because I want you to understand what it is and why you need to use it. So let me give you a little rundown of what an Instagram story actually is. So if you've been in the Instagram platform, you know that it consists of squares of posts that you create that kind of live eternally on your Instagram feed, on your Instagram profile. Well, what Instagram stories are another opportunity to use Instagram, but they're little segments of content that don't actually live on your profile. Well, they kind of can now, and I'll get to that in a little bit, but they're these little segments that you can create throughout the day. They can be photos, they can be videos, and there's all kinds of fun little advanced features that you can use to create them, but they only live for 24 hours, and they don't show on your profile necessarily. People know that you've created a story when there's a rainbow ring around your profile photo. And so they can click through that and see these little segments of content that you've created throughout any given day. Now, why is this so cool? Well, let me tell you why you need to use them. And I'm going to show you some of these things in a few minutes, so stay tuned. I'm going to actually connect so you can see an Instagram profile, and we'll walk through them. But why do you need to use them? Well, first of all, when you go into Instagram, you will notice at the very top of your feed all these little circles of people that have created Instagram stories. If you don't create an Instagram story, you don't show up in the top of that feed. So that's opportunity number one for people to view your story, even if they haven't come across any new posts that you've created recently. Then as you scroll through your news feed, oh wow, up pops up another segment of all types of different Instagram stories that the people you follow have created. Number two opportunity for you to get more visibility in addition to the posts that you're creating for Instagram. A new feature that they've got now is you can actually save your Instagram stories to your profile. So if someone goes directly to your profile, above all your square posts will be little circles of Instagram stories that you've decided to save there because they were really relevant or helpful or entertaining content. And then, of course, if someone's on your profile for any reason and they see that rainbow ring, they can not only look at the posts that you've created, read your bio, click through to the link that you've provided, but they can again watch your Instagram story. This is 4 more ways to get attention on Instagram than just creating a post. Pretty powerful. And that's one of the reasons why you absolutely need to be using them. In addition to that, we all know that Instagram, the platform itself, when we post content, it needs to be really visually appealing. It takes time to pick a great Instagram photo. It can't be blurry, it can't be crappy. The things you see on Instagram all follow a common theme of creative and artistic. These stories give you the opportunity to kind of break that mold and share more personal things or to maybe teach. You decide what it is that you want to do in those stories. Do you want to teach? Do you want to give little insights into what your business culture is like? Do you want to entertain people, make them laugh? Whatever it is, you get the chance to do that in stories through live video, photos, hashtags, polls, all kinds of other features that I'm going to show you in a minute. And it's a great way to truly connect with people because they're going to learn a lot more about you, about your business, and they're going to make that decision whether they like you, want to follow you, and want to maybe take that relationship to the next step as a client, or even just some type of power partner that you can connect with on Instagram to benefit the both of your businesses. Okay, so before we jump into actually looking at how to create stories, I want to share with you just a few best practices that I want you to be thinking about before you create your first or your next Instagram story. So one of the things that's always really important is that you make sure you have good lighting and good sound. Because if people can't hear you, as a matter of fact, I did one this morning and the sound was completely gone. My bad, really felt terrible about it. What a bad user experience. I had to go delete that. So you want to make sure that you've got good lighting and good sound. So you can test that stuff on your phone before you even start your story. Really, really easy. The other thing is have a plan and a purpose. What are you creating this story for? Again, to teach, to inspire, to entertain. I'll tell you 3 of my favorite stories to watch. If you're not watching Sue B. Zimmerman, the Instagram expert, at the Instagram expert, you're missing out on tons of valuable content about Instagram. I'm always watching Sue's live streams and her stories in order to educate myself in what's brand new and what are the ninja tips that I need to know to make better stories. I love watching Gary Vaynerchuk, at Gary V, because he inspires me, he motivates me, he really just makes me want to work harder and makes me just want to stay in my lane, in my zone, doing what I love. The third one is Isaac for Mayor. That's Isaac, number 4, Mayor. He is a kick-ass hairstylist out in San Diego. I like cool hair, and he owns cool hair. And the stuff that he posts isn't really just about the cool hairstyles he does, but he's really funny, he's really entertaining, and at the end of his story, he shows you some absolute kick-ass hairstyles, and I love following along. So everybody really has a different purpose, and so I want you to figure out what is yours. And then you can get started with creating your story. Now, I recommend and find that I get the best results if I pre-plan 5 to 6 segments, and you can do more, but 5 to 6 segments that I'm going to put in my Instagram story within maybe a couple hours or maybe even right after one another, so that when people do click in, there's actually a storyline for them to follow. It's really a bummer. I always feel disappointed when I click on a story and there's just an image or just one short little video and there's nothing to follow it up. So really keep in mind, what are these 5 or 6 different segments going to be that I'm going to share with my audience today? And then finally, and this is with all of our marketing, as small businesses, everything that we do is to get our viewers to take some sort of an action or elicit some sort of response or emotion from them. So really keep in mind, what's the call to action you want to have in your story? Are you going to teach something and then guide them to click the link in your bio in order to go learn more? Are you going to talk about some type of a value added promotion that you really want people to know about because it will help them, and then drive them somewhere in order to take action so they can continue to engage with you? So always in all of your marketing, be thinking about, what's that call to action? What do I want people to do after they watch this? Pretty simple stuff. Now let's jump into how to actually start creating them. Okay, everybody, so bear with me because I'm going to make an assumption here that if you're watching this video, you probably have only dabbled in creating an Instagram story or maybe haven't even created one before. So I want to actually show you how you begin creating your first Instagram story and just where you find these features. So right now, in order to create a story, you need to be at your home page. So to get there, when you open Instagram, you're gonna go into the lower left-hand corner and hit that little house. Now I wanna draw your attention to something. Remember I talked about that increased visibility you get with your viewers? Look who's right up at the top of my feed under stories. The Instagram expert, Subi Zimmerman, and Isaac for Mayor, the infamous Isaac Roberts, amazing hairstylist. I could click through right now and watch their stories, and they don't even have to post anything that shows up in my news feed. As I scroll through my feed, I am going to end up seeing boxes that show me those active stories once again. And if I were to hop to their profile, I would see, just like you see here with you. Now, let me show you, whoops, sorry about that. Let me show you how you actually start your first story. In the upper left-hand corner of your screen, you're going to see a little camera. When I hit that, it's going to allow us to start creating a story. Hey everybody. So I'm gonna just grab a snapshot here to play with for a minute. So smile. So there's my snapshot. Oh my gosh, it's horrible, but you know what? We're gonna add a couple stickers to it. So up in the top of your screen, you'll see a little smiley face. Those are your stickers. When those pop up, you will have all kinds of options to scroll through, including stickers that Instagram has created, and eventually you'll get down to the emojis that you're used to seeing on your phone keyboard. So since I'm just not a huge fan of this picture, let's do some fun things with it. I probably need a hat. It's really cold here in the Midwest. I can pop that on my head, resize it, twist it, turn it, whatever I want to do. I can add another one, probably need a scarf. Again, it's pretty cold. Now I'm creating some fun things. Let me just highlight a couple other things that stickers do for you. I can tag the location that I'm at. So right now I'm working in the office. I can put my location sticker here. These are clickable. So someone who watches this story could literally click that sticker and get an actual map to the location of my office. Pretty cool feature. Again, in the stickers, you can do the same thing with hashtags. If I were to add a hashtag, I could do our custom team, TBGL, and save that right here on my hat. That's also clickable, which would mean someone could click through and see all the posts that we've created that we've used our custom hashtag in. Stickers are tons of fun, and there's other features you can use as well. You'll see, and I'm going to let you guys play with these and not go through every one of them. I'm just going to let you know what they are. Up in the upper right, you'll see a pencil. That allows you to actually draw on your screen, so you could do all kinds of fun things with that. And then you see the upper and lowercase a, that creates text boxes. That's what you would use to actually tag somebody in your story by using the @ and their username. So @ThinkBigGoLocal would tag me in your story, and then I would get a notification and be able to hop over and view it. Now, once you've done these things, you can save this by hitting the save in the lower left-hand corner to save your story to your phone, or you just hit the your story feature and it's actually going to add it to your story, and that's your first piece of content. Now, I'm going to exit out of this by hitting the X in the upper left, and we could create some other things, but I want to show you really quickly, down at the bottom, there's a menu that you can scroll through that gives you some special features. And I just really encourage you to play with it. There's boomerangs. Super Zoom is fun. Test these things out. If you don't like them, you don't have to post them to your story. You can always exit out of them. Rewind actually does reverse videos. Hands-free allows you to hit the button once instead of holding it down in order to create a video. And then the smiley face that you see all the way over to the right, that gives us some really cool features that are basically filters that you can add to your Instagram stories. They add all kinds of fun and really just let people know what kind of personality you have and what's it's going to be like to follow you. Now I'm going to exit out of those as well and head back over here. So that's how you actually create your Instagram story. Now, the next thing that you want to know is this actually working? Who's paying attention to this stuff? I love analytics and I want to know who are the people that are always tuning in, what type of content is keeping them engaged, and what type of content is actually making them jump out of my story. So in order to do that, you're going to open your own story. Now, up you'll see where it says you, that's my Instagram profile photo. And while I do have an active story because I made one before I started shooting this video, because I've already watched it, it actually doesn't have a rainbow. But I'm going to click on that, and this is the story that I created this morning. Now, down in the lower left, you will see that it's been seen by 27 people. If I hit that, I am going to get my Instagram analytics that are going to show me who's been watching these videos and a little bit of other data. So the first thing is that this actually lists the 27 people that watched the video. If you're paying attention to this every time you do a story, you're going to start recognizing these people and you're going to know that these are the people that are paying attention to you. One, I highly encourage you reciprocate that. And you know what? If you don't know them, reach out to them with a direct message, introduce yourself, and find out more about what they do. That's called a relationship. That's called being social, and this is social media. So pay attention to who these people are. Now, next to the 27, you're going to see some bars just under your story at the top. If you select those bars, it's going to give you some additional analytic data. So right here you see how many impressions, how many people saw that you had an active story, and then how many people actually viewed it. So this story's pretty new, but there was only a handful of people that saw I had a story and didn't watch it. That's a good sign. Now, one viewer swiped away from my story, so they weren't really interested in what I was talking about this morning. That's totally cool. I'm fine with that. If I saw that that number was really large or that it was growing over time, that's an indication that the stories you're creating aren't really resonating with your audience. So it's a great idea to pay attention to this so that you can kind of understand what's working and what's not. As you scroll from right to left, it will scroll through the different stories you've created, so you'll be able to see what the analytics for each different story that you created were. You'll also see a sticker insights. So if you had a sticker on your story, that will tell you that someone actually clicked on it to get your location or to see what that hashtag was all about. So you want to pay attention to that too. So that is how you use Instagram analytics for stories to get an idea of what's working and what's not. You can also upload this data or delete these stories with the upload and the garbage can icon that you see there towards the middle of the screen. I'm going to exit out of this by hitting the X up in the upper right hand corner. Now, I want to tell you a couple of new features that you can do with your stories to kind of get a little bit more engagement and a little more visibility. Again, if I click into my story, down at the bottom, you're going to see a share button. It's a little paper airplane. When I hit that, it will allow me to share that content, that piece of my story, with individuals that these are people that I've engaged recently with, or I could create a new group of people and share it with a number of people. So if one of your goals is to educate people and you know somebody that could really benefit from that content, by all means, don't just count on the fact that they're going to come across it in Instagram. Actually send it to them. It'll go to them in a direct message. Hands down, they're not going to miss it. So great feature is that share feature. Now the highlight feature is brand new, and this is really awesome. If you've created a story that you know is really going to resonate with your audience and has some longevity to it, maybe you were teaching something, you can now actually add it to your profile and it'll show up right under your bio. So you can see here, I have already added 2 different highlights, one about our trip to Google and one about our first snowfall, that are on my profile. If I wanted to add this story, all I would do is hit the new button, give it a name, and it would show up on my profile. Let me show you what that looks like. If I go to my profile, this is our Think Big Go Local profile. Underneath our bio, you see the stories that we've chosen to highlight. What this means is that those stories didn't disappear in 24 hours. They didn't show up in the news feed at the top any longer, but anybody that came to my profile could actually watch our highlighted stories. Really cool feature, great way to get more visibility on content that you know is really valuable. I'm going to jump back over to my story and show you one more thing. The little more button in the lower right-hand corner gives us a few more options. One, if the story you just made, you really screwed it up or you didn't mean to post it, all you have to do is hit delete and it's gone. No worries, start over again. If you want to save it to your phone, you can hit the save button and that's going to automatically save it for you. If you would like to share it as a post on your Instagram profile so that it lives there forever, you can hit share as a post and it's going to take you through the steps that you are used to seeing in terms of creating an actual Facebook post, but it'll do it as a video with this whole series of stories in it. So that's another cool thing you can do. Now, another new feature that they've added is you can actually share your stories over on your Facebook profile as a Facebook story or as a Facebook My Day, they were calling it for a while. So hit your story settings and become familiar with what's in these settings as well. You can hide your story from specific people if you wanted to. You can determine who's allowed to message you directly through your stories. Obviously, I want everybody to be able to do that, but you could actually shut it off or you can choose to just let people that you follow respond. You can allow sharing so that people can actually share your story as a direct message to the people they're connected with that they think would find value in it. Obviously, we want to let people do that. You can automatically save it to your camera roll every time you create a story with the toggle switch there so that you don't have to save it every time you create a story. You can also save it to your Instagram archive so you can go back and see those stories later on in your archive. Down at the very bottom is that little toggle button to share your story directly to Facebook when you create one on Instagram. So if you're a Facebook user and you think that content would be valuable to that audience, turn it on. If you are someone that's just always talking about Instagram and living in Instagram, you might not want to share that to Facebook because it might not be as relevant. But I wanted you to know that those features existed. So you guys, I hope that gave you enough information to get you pumped up and ready to start playing around, testing it out, and creating Instagram stories that engage your audience. Woo, that was a lot of information. But you know what? Here's the deal. I want to challenge you to get started. And you know what? Feel free to tag me in your story. You know, you can tag me in your story, make it really little so nobody even knows it's there, but I'll get that notification and I want to come and check you out and let you know what I think about the content that you're putting out there just to show a little love and support to get you going. So you can do that. We are at Think Big Go Local on all of our platforms. Really easy to remember. And listen, if this was helpful to you, if it inspired you to get started, gave you a few tips, and you're ready to take your business really seriously and would like to learn more this year about how to more effectively market your business in social media and online, then please subscribe to this YouTube channel. We want to continue to give great information to help small businesses succeed in this super competitive world that actually there's still a ton of space for you. You just got to learn to do it right, find your voice, really embrace the personality that makes you unique. And so subscribe to this and leave us some comments. Let us know how we can help you in the future. That helps us to create better blogs and future content that makes your small business a successful one. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you all once again very soon.